Hey guys, welcome back to Never Done Farms. Today we got the old square baler out. We're going to try to square bale a little bit of hay, and that's what it's going to be, a little bit. I doubt if it'll make, I don't know, 100, 150 bales. And unfortunately it's just me. I ain't got nobody to drive a tractor, so I think I'm going to have to drop it on the ground and come back and pick it up this evening. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. But I'm going to get this little 424 and a rake out and go to raking. That's got our first little field rake, so we're gonna head over here to the second one, then on to the third, then I guess we'll come back and get the old baler going. Got it all raked up. Running this old bar rake ain't near as much fun as I remembered it being from when I was a kid, but it's all right to get out every once in a while when you're doing these little spots. Ooh. I thought I'd add in there that I actually prefer the bar rake, just for the fact of that it ain't dragging on the ground all the time like the V rake. I think or I've always thought one of them double Vermeer bar rakes would be the stuff. They just cost too much. And the same for the rotary rakes. I think one of them would be awful nice, but they're just kind of cost prohibitive. Alrighty, we got it all raked. We're fixing to fire the old baler up. I couldn't get nobody to drive for me, so I'm just gonna drop them on the ground and see if I can get somebody to come help me pick them up later. If not, I'll just pick them up by myself, which ain't no fun, but I've done it before. But either way, we'll get going here and see if the old baler's gonna stay together. See what them bales look like. I can see it looks like it's doing this stupid banana crap. That's a pretty good bale of hay. It's about right, but if you can see here, this side right here, the bale is longer than the other, and I can't figure out why this thing's doing that. Of course, you can't complain too much. The thing's 50, 60, I don't know, somewhere in there. It's old enough, and she's still a baling, so I guess that's all that matters, even if it don't make them perfect. Down here and move all these around on the end. It's getting to where I couldn't turn. And I think when I get back up here at the other end, I'm gonna have to do the same deal. Like I guess. I just absolutely despise dropping hay on the ground, but when you buy it yourself, that's about the only option you got when you ain't got no accumulator or none of that other fancy stuff. The neighbor up here's got one of them old new Holland stack wagons, one of the smaller ones that holds like 60, 70 bales. I've been thinking about it because he bought the thing and never used it but once. I've been thinking about asking him if he'd part with it, but I don't bale that much hay anymore either. But it'd be awful nice for a feller by himself. At least he could get it in the barn pretty quickly and easily by himself that way. I just well hobble down here and move these other couple of bales. I've got something going on with my right ankle. When I got up this morning, it was a hurting. I don't know what I've done to it, but I'm sure it'll work itself out one way or another. up there, that's about all Johnson grass. I'm gonna roll them, but we'll swing his baler back around and head, I don't know, that's about 2 miles up the road to that other little spot, bale it up, then hopefully we can come back, get this all picked up tonight. Well, we made it up here, and it, just like over yonder, these little windrows seem to be kicking out quite a few bales. Well, we're done. I don't know how many it made. I don't know how much any of it made. Like an idiot, I didn't look at the counter before I started. I want to say it made 100 here, but you know how that is. Just a guess. But either way, I'm gonna run this thing back up the road and put it in the barn and get a wagon, and I'm gonna call a couple boys and see if I can get a little help, and see if we can't get some of this picked up. Well, we finally got that hay loaded last night, or my brother and a friend did. My foot got so bad that I couldn't walk. I couldn't even push the brakes on the tractor. I don't know, but it's better this morning. It's just kind of hurting just a little bit, but we're gonna try and get this unloaded. I'm up here messing with this old Coleman generator we use to run the hay elevators, and I'm sure you can hear there, it's not running the best. I don't know what its problem is. It's like it'll run and then it won't. It just fades in and out. And I've messed with it, and I can't get it to. It seems like it was doing that last year, and I've had everybody and their brother work on it. I reckon it's just the way it's going to be. The thing's older than I don't know what anyway. But it's been a good and an art to just set in and buy a generator, but the only time I ever use one anymore is to run these elevators. I hate to have a generator sitting around to run 6 hours a year, because then it'll just end up like that one. But either way, we'll get going here shortly. square bales finished up, and I've got this 885 hooked to that big rake, so I'm gonna run up there and rake that 5-acre bottom. And then this other little spot still raked from yesterday at Johnson grass. And then we got to unhook a bush hog and hook a roller up. We're gonna roll them 2 places and then put everything in the barn, including the 424 and the bar rake. And then we're gonna, after that, I guess, that boy's just helping me unload them bales this morning. I'm gonna go help him drop the biker sticks. His tobacco's ready to cut, so he needs help with that. So I'm gonna go help him. And we're back with the hay roller. So, well, hopefully we can get this. Lord, that's loud. Put a little oil on that thing. But hopefully we can get this wound up pretty quick, because there's an old boy just called a second ago and said he got my last sack of deer corn, so that adds something to the list. I had to sack up a little more corn. I gotta keep all these old boys happy so they don't go somewhere else. I may not know much, but I know we're gonna have to set in and have us a window cleaning. Between all this dust that's already on the windows, and then this dusty hay coming down the other side of that field with the sun shining over the back of the roller, you can't tell what's up, down, or whatever, but surely we'll make it this afternoon. Well, here we are, like 2 days later. I'm finally getting around to putting an end on this video. I know we didn't do a whole lot, but I don't really need any square bales anymore. I mean, I could do with probably 100 a year just for the few heifers I've had to keep up or whatever, and then the sheep usually eat like 50 or 60 bales. But I reckon square bales is just something I feel that I have to do, because we've always baled some. When I was growing up around here, shoot, we used to bale several thousand on up, maybe even 5,000 or more a year. We'd stack them logs down there full, stack the upper driveway of that barn full, and then this old barn here, we'd stack these 2 lower sheds full, and then there was another barn up a road that we'd stack full every year, and then load the wagons and back them in the barn. And used to, it didn't seem that it got so wet around here in the winters, and before and after school, me and Dad we'd load the truck bed and go out in the field and scatter them out to the cows. And some of them we'd even feed twice a day, just, you know, give them 10 bales in the morning, 10 bales in the afternoon. And I still think that's a good way to do it, because you could kind of just give them what they needed, make them clean it up better, and plus then you just scattering your manure, and what little bit of hay they wasted was just scattered everywhere, kind of like unrolling hay. But either way, I enjoy the square bales, and I wish I could do more of them, but I don't really have a reason to. And then you take like the last couple of years here, it's got so dry in the fall that I ain't had no real good hay to square bale, so that's just part of it. But either way, I'm going to end this in here, so thank y'all for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.